Hello, welcome to the 29th episode of my podcast, Open Conversations. I'm your host, Young Bella. Today, just me talking about some more NBA talks, um, get into some more all-time lists, um, just recent current NBA news, uh, and yeah. So this is by request. I was going to do a list on my small forwards on my forwards list. So starting off my top five small forwards of all time. Um, this list is not in any specific order. Um, no specific order, but nonetheless, my top five um, guys of the position. So uh, first, start off with Carmelo Anthony. Um, just a absolute, absolute dog, absolute beast, man. My favorite era of Melo was Denver Nuggets. Carmelo, who is just a scoring machine. Like, um, to me, like when it comes to just pure just scoring the basketball, like you know him, KD, Jordan, like those are like the pinnacles when it comes to just the art of scoring the basketball. But Denver Melo could just score anywhere. Post games, perimeter shooting a three, getting to the rim. Obviously, an efficient free throw shooter. Um, he had the whole package and just you know the size 6'8", big guy. Um, just his ability to score at his position was just bar none. Very very one of one. In my opinion. So Carmelo, then going with his draft mate, um, LeBron James. Um, you know, obviously just the baby, the greatest of all time. I got him, in my number two uh, player of all time. Um, just always been a big fan of LeBron. Um, highest, to my opinion, highest basketball IQ. I need to do a list of top five IQ guys. I'm gonna do that. But I definitely gonna put LeBron highest basketball IQ. Obviously with the super God given God given abilities that he has with his athleticism and physique and things of that nature. He's really a student of the game. Able to call out the plays of the opposing team. Knowing all how to pretty much the system offense on when he's playing um, on offense. Um, just seeing some of the passes he makes and the decisions he makes on the floor. Um, to me, is really obviously the dunks and the finishes and whatever all that fun stuff that LeBron does when he's playing is all great. But what really intrigues me about him is his basketball IQ and his decision making when he's on the floor. How he's just a great teammate to his teammates, um, and his ability to lead guys and make guys better, improve guys' games, and just be the great player that he is. So got LeBron in there. Then next I'm gonna go with KD, Kevin Durant. Um, just a you know how can I say a just a master at the art of scoring the basketball. Um, Anywhere on the floor, perimeter, get into the cup dunk, mid range, the post. His scoring package and things of that nature is very similar to Melo, but I think KD has a little slightly deeper range to his game. He has a slightly deeper range, and then obviously he's a couple inches taller than Melo, so that gives him an extra advantage. But he just his ability to score the basketball, um, and just be able to fit. And he's one of the few superstar type of guys that you can put him on any 30 of the NBA teams, and he's gonna be Kevin Durant. It's gonna be his 30 points is just gonna be add on. It's not gonna be like you have to do too many adjustments in terms of how you run your offense and things like that. It's like Kevin Durant's gonna fit right into what you know the team is doing the offense, and he's gonna give you 30. Regardless of the team. So I think that's definitely a great thing, um, great aspect because when you're talking about superstars type guys, especially in the NBA, most usually gonna have to make some adjustments around in the offense, and you know certain plays have to be run by but KD, he's the type of guy, he can break you down off the dribble. He can score off the just on some screening, or running screens, or running around the court off the ball pretty much type of thing. um he got the whole package. So um KD. Then fourth, I got I'm going to speak on Paul Pierce, the truth, man. He's a guy that I feel like don't get enough quote unquote respect in terms of just how great he was as a player and what he was able to do while he was playing. Um, he was to me he was the best player of the big three. Um, During that with the Celtics, I think he was the best player. He was definitely the go-to guy when the Celtics needed a bucket. And Paul Pierce is just a guy, man, who could, always could get you a bucket. You know what I'm saying? Um, you give Paul the ball, he's not going to be super herky jerky or anything like that. He's going to be real simple, and he's just going to get you a bucket. You know what I'm saying? And um, that's just the one aspect I really love of Paul Pierce's game. He's going to get you a bucket somehow. It may not be in the most quote unquote prettiest of ways, or whatever. He gonna get you a bucket. So that's something that I really like about Paul Pierce. Um, clutch, clutch. That's a one aspect that he don't get enough. He's very clutch. Hit a lot of big shots down the stretch in big games um, throughout his career, even late in his career. So yeah, Paul Pierce, man. Shout out to Paul Pierce. I've always been a big fan of Paul Pierce, and like seeing his game and how he played. Like I've been a big fan of him. And then lastly, we're gonna go with his one of his franchise mates, Larry Bird. You know, 3-time NBA champion, league MVP. Not sure he's many times, but he's had it. He definitely won one. Larry Bird, you know, great shooter, um, great, passer as well. Uh, Definitely a guy that, fundamentally sound. Um, didn't need, you know, much like, Paul Pierce in a way, didn't need too much herky jerky, knew how to get a bucket, um, even if it was just off the, simple, just simple moves or anything like that. Could get you a bucket and great leader, during his time with the Celtics. So um, that rounds out my list of my top five small forwards of all time. My top five power forwards of all time. So you going again, not doing this in any specific order, just giving you my top five guys. And so starting with Tim Duncan, the big fundamental, um, what he was able to accomplish in San Antonio, playing with one franchise for the amount of time that he was able to do it, um, definitely is a major, um, you know, underrated accolade, but it's definitely a very big accolade because not many guys, have been able to stay on one franchise um, throughout their careers. Not too many guys that you can really speak of that has done that. You talk about other guys who have done that. Kobe, uh, Dirk Nowitzki, Magic Johnson. Amongst some of the other greats who've been able to stay with one franchise their whole career. Five-time NBA champion, league MVP, Finals MVP. Um, just a guy who just knew how to play the game well. Didn't wasn't too flair. It wasn't about the flair. Just getting the job done, doing what he needed to do. Um, he was a great teammate. Um, he was a guy who took pay cuts so that the Spurs can bring guys to help them win championships. Um, so yeah, Tim Duncan. Then next I'm gonna go with Giannis Antetokounmpo. Obviously, he's a guy who's still playing the game, but in my opinion, is deserving to be with what he's been able to achieve thus far in his career, and what I believe he still his career is still being written. Um, believe he's gonna win more championships and achieve more accolades and things of that nature. But just a dominant player, you know, his ability to, dominate the post when he's down there, go coast to coast with the basketball and, full steam and, get a bucket, defensively, he's a presence. Um, uh, um, and then just a overall, just a good teammate, a guy who's a good teammate to his teammates, and he wants to, he's a guy who wants to win. He's a guy who has a winner mentality and wants to win, and has the desire to improve and you know get better and stuff like that. And I applaud that, especially with him being already as great of a player that he already is, and his desire to keep pushing and wanting to get better. Says a lot about the character that he has. And so Got Giannis there. Then Karl Malone played with the Utah Jazz. Most of his career. Probably the best player of all time in Utah Jazz history. Um, went to two finals. Didn't win, but Karl Malone was just a overall great player. One of the best players to just post game type of guys. His post game was very 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 A1. And his pick and roll, that was him and John Stockton's bread and butter. Just the pick and roll basketball that they used to run um, was definitely uh, one thing. How he was able to be very successful in his career. Um, you know, very big. Big tough. Strong guy. Uh, I think he's number 3 on the scoring list or something like that. I want to say he's number 3 on that list. So he, well, to show you, he was definitely a bucket when he was playing. So I got Karl Malone in there. Then gotta go with Dirk Nowitzki, um, a guy who um, spent his whole career in with the Dallas Mavericks, led them to a championship against the Miami Heat, and the Heat was in their first year. You know what I'm saying? We that championship, you know, their ability to win that championship, it was great, and it says a lot about Dirk. You know what I'm saying? To win against that great team. Um, uh, just the shooter that he was. He was probably the first big man that could like had the tray ball at like just a wet tray ball. Like his tray ball was just crazy. Um, I think and then just his unorthodox shots he would take, whether it would be like you know 1 foot, the 1 footer shots that he used to take and stuff like that. He was very unorthodox with his shots, but they definitely worked, and it was just unguardable. Obviously he's 7 feet, and he shot the ball at a very high um, arc and a high release, so it was really impossible to block. So um, Dirk was really very um, very much so in a lot of ways unguardable. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Dirk Nowitzki got him in there, and then lastly we got Kevin Garnett, KG, the big ticket. Um, One of my favorites. I just main thing I love about KG is just the passion that he plays with, that he brings um, to the game, and passion he plays is just like you can see he really loves the game of basketball, and he's coming there to play. So um, that's just something for me that I really appreciate about KG. And then obviously he was just nice with one of probably the first guy who like at his position, the power forward position, that was very off. You could break him down off the dribble, and kind of he was like the first of like the point forward in a sense. You know what I'm saying? He had some handle, could shoot it a little bit from you know from range, and he had the post work. And yeah, KG was just a nightmare for a lot of people. If you was a big, a real big, guy, you know, in the post, he could take you a little bit under at the perimeter, at the mid range. you were a little smaller, he could back you down and score. So, you know, KG was definitely a night a nightmare matchup for a lot of guys. And so yeah, KG, NBA champion as well, league MVP uh, as well. So that would conclude my my list of top five power forwards of all time. My top five centers of all time. So again, no specific order, but I'm gonna start off with Hakeem Olajuwon. Mostly known for his time playing with the Houston Rockets. Led them to two NBA champions, two-time Finals MVP. Uh, I want to say Hakeem was a, you know, league MVP as well, 12-time All-Star. Um, Probably, in my opinion, had the best footwork. And he was a big man and post game, like his post game, his post moves, and was just even you got players even in the modern day and even in recent years who still pay him to on his post work and his post skills. So yeah, you know, Hakeem was really one, and then just defensively too. He won a defensive player of the year for us defensively. Um, just an all around great player. Um, you know, one in that '90s era where it was super tough. Jordan was dominating. So uh, even though I do have to acknowledge the time when he did win the chips. I think he won it one year when Jordan was out. The year he was playing baseball, and then another year when the Magic had beat um, the Bulls in the Eastern Conference, and then they beat the Magic. So, but still, tough. A lot of talent and great players. Then next, I gotta go with Shaquille O'Neal, the Diesel. He, the most dominant player of all time. Um, just was just beating guys with brute force, especially when he got there with the Lakers. Um, just athletic, especially for his size and build. Just dominating. Um, and he was a great passer. He was a really good passer. Knew when to kick it out to guys when the double teams came. Shaq knew, when to kick it out and pass it to the cutters and things of that nature when need be. Um, great defensively. Great rebounder. Um, just like he always says, I don't is it G14 classified? Whatever. When it comes to the big man, you know what I'm saying? He knows what it takes to be um, a dominant and a great. So um, gotta put Shaq in there, and you gotta go with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, uh, six-time NBA champion. Um, just the now the second all-time leading scorer. Um, inventor of the sky hook, still to this day, one of the most unguardable, if not the most unguardable shot in the game, and just was, he had the moves and the size, and you know, he was just a great player. Played along, Magic, obviously helped him, no, they both helped each other. To be honest, they were both complementary to each other. But yeah, Kareem, you know, even when you look statistically, one of the most consistent players. When you look statistically, very consistent in his stats, um, and just consistently great. And so yeah, gotta put my guy Kareem, uh, originally Lou Alcindor, in there. Then fourth, I gotta go with, and this is a little, the next two guys that I'm gonna list are actually current guys. Um, but again, I do believe that they are very deserving to be in this list, because I do believe they, even in this currently, they, like, obviously I have them on the list, but currently their game has spoken enough to me to where I can put them on the list, and then they're still writing this story. So, and I believe they have a lot more to add, when it comes to the history books, and what they're going to do. But um, Nikola Jokic, um, two-time MVP, NBA champion, Finals MVP, potentially about to win his third MVP this season. Um, just probably the league's first point center, if you will. Um, just I'm a big fan of Nikola Jokic, man. Um, just the way he plays, his ability to affect the game, whether it's through rebounding, assisting, uh, scoring the basketball. Um, and the fact that he does it in such an efficient manner, like he's super efficient in his scoring, doesn't force it at all, makes the right plays all the time. Um, not a high maintenance guy who's just gonna be yapping in his mouth all the time like most cats. Um, he just goes out there, plays basketball, and plays it well, plays it the right way, and I really admire that about him. He's a guy who just goes about his business and gets things done. And just me personally, I can relate to him, in that regard. You know, um, I think with today's day and age and the media, it's always looking for, if you're not a loudmouth and you just not yapping off and bringing attention to yourself, it's like you're not a star, you're not a superstar, or you can't be marketed, or people not gonna like you, whatever, media narrative people like to just push out there, just because you're a guy who, handles their business, and goes to work and do what they gotta do. Um, like a Nikola Jokic, So I'm, like I said, I'm a big fan of him. I really love his game. Really love the way he plays the game. Um, so yeah, and then lastly, I'm gonna go with Joel Embiid, league MVP last year. Um, very good chance of winning it again this season. Um, just super dominant as a guy, as a player. Um, can do it all, man. He's he's a guy who, man, when you look at his game, and look at him in his current state, like, you really can't say there's any weakness to his game. I mean, he can he can take you coast to coast. at his size. Um, he can beat you off the dribble. He can, shoot the mid range. He can shoot the three. He can beat you in the post. He can, be dominant and just back you down and dunk on you. He can pass the ball. You know, um, he can pass the ball very well at his size. Um, Great defensive player. Can rebound it. Um, just has that dominant mentality. Um, like I said, this is really right now no flaws you can say when it comes to Joel Embiid and his game in this current day and time. And like I said, I'm just looking forward to see him, you know, keep balling and keep hooping and the accolades, pouring. I believe he's gonna, win some more MVPs and likely win a championship, in his career. So, you know, that rounds out my list of top five centers of all time. And these guys, especially when you're talking about a Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic, these guys, in my opinion, have really transcended the way that the center is plays the game of basketball and the position itself and the way that they play, their ability to um, pass the ball, be a playmaker, um, beat you off the dribble, shooting the basketball. These are aspects. These are, in essence, what most would say guard skills that these guys have added to their game, as well as still being great at the center position, like beating you in the post, backing you down. you know the traditional center. What centers do. They're great at that, doing those things too, as well as them being adding on these other aspects to their game, like I said, like the shooting, the passing, and beating you off the dribble and stuff like that. So I take that into consideration as well. So Lonzo Ball, Lonzo Ball returning from injury. Um, I think this is, pretty good for the Chicago Bulls. Um, for guys who know or maybe don't know, you know, prior to Lonzo getting injured, I think about a year, 2 years ago, about so they were the Chicago Bulls were number one in the East. Um, Lonzo was running the show at the point guard, doing his thing, getting Jack Levine, DeMar, the rest of those guys involved, and running the offense, and you know, doing his thing. Really starting to come into his own as a player, and break out his shell and getting comfortable. Being one of the focal points uh, on an NBA team without the pressure that he was having over there and with the Lakers. Um, and they were winning games, winning basketball, and then obviously the injury occurred, and you know, Chicago Bulls, season kind of took a downturn after that. But Lonzo should be returning soon. I think this is big, man. Especially for the Chicago Bulls. He needs to get some runs in, get his wind up, because he's a guy that makes teams better, in my opinion. He's a unselfish guy, makes the right plays, great passer, guy who, he's always looking to make that outlet pass as soon as he gets it. Um, and guys love playing with guys like Alonzo Ball, because he's an unselfish guy. Um, I think I think this is going to be big for them because right now they're one of the teetering teams right now in the East. I believe they're like 10th in the East or something like that, and that's something that uh, you make that you add Lonzo to the mix, and that should be something that um, is really helpful for the ball club, and you know put them in the mix. You know what I'm saying? As you know, maybe get to that eighth seed, seventh seed. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? You had a guy like Lonzo. Cause like I like Lonzo. I like Lonzo. I like it. I like his game. He can score too. He can score the basketball. You know what I'm saying? When need be, doesn't force it. Um, so looking forward to Lonzo coming in, doing his thing, helping this Chicago Bulls team out. So yeah, Ja Morant's hot streak. Uh, I just I was telling if people I remember I had made my video. I had made a video about teams to look out for, and I had mentioned the Memphis Grizzlies. This was right before Ja Morant's game where he did the game winner and everything. And I had mentioned for people, people who watch, can tell you that I had mentioned Ja Morant, um, his return and how the impact he was going to have. I said this prior to him coming back and playing his game. And lo and behold, I've been 100% correct, and I'm gonna give me my credit on that. And yeah, like Ja Morant has been killing since he's come back. He's been balling. He's been dominating. And I'm happy for him. I'm happy that he's come back and just been balling, showing guys, what they've been missing, so to speak. Uh, Yeah, man, I'm happy for him being able to bounce back, and I hope he just continues to keep on playing well. You know, avoids any outside off the court issues and things of that nature, and the Grizzlies can just ball, keep be focused and hopefully can get into that play in mix, type of thing, because I think that they have the talent and, on that team to make a push for that play in, ninth to 10th seed, eighth seed kind of positioning, because they have the talent, Ja, Desmond Bain, Jaren Jackson, Smart, um, they got the talent. It's just um, them being able to uh, go out there and just play ball, play winning basketball. You know, play with that energy, that young energy, that edge that they like to play with. So yeah, man, Ja, keep it up. I'm rooting for you. I know there's many other people out there that's rooting for you, brother. And yeah, man, keep balling, keep on balling, keep the hot streak going. And prove the doubters, prove them completely wrong, my man. So yeah, do Phoenix Suns have enough to win championship? Uh, I think when you talk about the Phoenix Suns, they're a very top heavy team. Obviously you got KD, superstar, you know, 30 a night, easy. Then you go into, Devin Booker, uh, can give you about 32, 27, 28 is usually what you're going to get. But you can go 30, you can go ballistic at any moment. Um, and then you have Brad Bill. But he's been, those injuries have been a knack for him this season. And you got Nurkic. Nurkic has been one of the, rotational guys that's been, pretty solid for them. Eric Gordon, um, and Bobo. I think they need to feature him a little bit more. I think they need to give Bobo some more reps, some more time out there for him to do what he does. He's a guy that I think doesn't hasn't really gotten enough. Um, how can you say just enough reps, man, enough that experience to go out there and just play his game and make mistakes and you know play through them and stuff like that. So I think they need to get Bobo in the mix a little bit more. The rumbling about Eric Gordon, him saying he wants a little bit more, more a bigger role on the team. I think that would be helpful for them. But I think the thing about them is just the depth of that team. I think that's where they're lacking. Um, and when you talk about the playoffs, the depth of your team is really what wins games. And you look at championship teams, yes, they have, they're top heavy, they got their superstar, they got their superstar or, two, three, whatever the case may be, they got their stars, but they have depth to them. They have a rotation of guys that, they can trust and count on to come in there and play, good basketball, championship basketball. Um, so that's the thing that I feel like talking about the Phoenix Suns. I think they lack is that depth. You know what I'm saying? You go in the playoffs. You need maybe 8 or 9 guys that you can definitely be like, all right, this is who this is who we're going to. You know what I'm saying for the series. And I don't think they have 8 or 9 guys that they can be confident about. Really, about 8 guys. 9 is a little bit pushing it especially when you're talking about deeper in the playoffs. It's usually when you're talking about the finals and conference finals, but mostly the finals. You're really talking about 8 guys playing. So 9 at best. So I don't think they have that currently. It's that depth, but the super top heavy. You got 2 superstars and an all-star guy in Bradley Beal. 2 superstars and Book and KD. Those are superstar talents. And Brad Bill, all star guy. You know, but like I said, I don't think it's enough. I don't think it's necessarily enough to win the championship because, like I said, they need more depth, and I don't know where they're gonna get that depth from. And then, um, I don't know. I mean, Book's not necessarily playing in his natural position. I was hoping that they were to get a natural point guard on that team that can facilitate the ball to KD, Book, and Bill, but they don't have that guy. They don't have that type of guy on that team. So that's to me another problem for them. So yeah. Pistons snap losing streak. Shout out to the Detroit Pistons. Um, you know, finally snapped the losing streak. It was on a 28 game losing streak. Recently just beat the Toronto Raptors. Um, not a couple days ago. Um, so happy for them. Uh, you know, they've had a pretty rough streak um, over the past month and a half or something like that. And it's good that they finally were able to get a W. And when you look at these Detroit Piston games, it's like they're not really getting blown out like that. They're just losing at like the final couple minutes of the game, losing by like 2 or 3 points, and it just keeps on happening like over and over again. And it's like they have the streak, like it's they could easily have like way more wins, like easily they could have at least 10 games, at least, if not for losing in like the last couple minutes or seconds of a game, they could have at least 10 games. But uh, shout out to them, man. Cade Cunningham, I'm a fan of his game. I'm a big fan of Cade Cunningham and his game, man. Keep balling out, doing your thing. Uh, they're a team that, when you look at them on a talent perspective, they're not. They got guys. Like I said, they got Cade. If he was on a winning team, so to speak, with the numbers and stats that he's put up, we would be considering him as all-star caliber guy. He'd be in those talks. Um, Bogdanovich, good player. Jaden Ivey, young player, coming up, he's talented, he's a young player. Uh, Bagley, they got young guys. You got a pretty solid coach in Monty Williams. So it's like, why, what's the issue here? You got some pieces, you got some guys. Why aren't you guys winning games? And I'm just, hoping that they can, this could be turned a corner for them, and they could go on a streak a bit, win some games, and get things together for the D, man. So yeah. Current MVP front runners. So right now, this is a no specific one. I'm just listing my four guys that I got in the MVP front runner conversation. So starting off with my guy Shea Gilgis, um, just a guy who's been killing it all year. Averaged around 30 a game. Got the Thunder at the 2 seed in the Western Conference. Um, who's leading a very young ball club in the OKC Thunder. And like I said, he's doing it in the West, which is the best conference uh, in the league. It is the best conference, and he's leading a young ball club, and doing it very well with style. And like I said, there hasn't been anybody you talking about the league, in my opinion, that's been able to guard this brother. You know what I'm saying? Because he can just break you down um, in any kind of way and get to his spots and score. So yeah, I got Shea. Uh, then I got Joel Embiid. Um, you know, he got the 76ers right now in the at the third seed, leading the league in leading the league in scoring. Uh, Averaging, I want to say, roughly uh, like 33, 33 a game or so. Um, he's averaging 35 a night as a center. So um, that's big time. That's big time. Uh, so you know, you got Joe Embiid just dominating, having a better season than the previous year, which was his first MVP season. Um, Playing even better. You see the he's jumped up another level in his play this season. Um, so that's 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 big time. Then next Joe Nikola Jokic, the Joker, um, currently got the Nuggets in the third seed right now in the West, um, averaging near the triple double type of thing that he's doing. Uh, just doing his regular Jokic type thing, super efficient in terms of his scoring, getting his guys involved, rebounding and all of that. So got Nikola Jokic, and then lastly, I gotta put my guy Jason Tatum in there. Currently got the Celtics as the number one seed in the East at 26-6. Um, doing his thing, even despite the adjustments. Uh, we talk about uh, adding new guys like the Drew Holiday and Porzingis. Still being able to adjust and play very well, averaging 26.9 points per game, um, balling out, doing his thing. So got him, and so yeah, that completes my front runner list of MVPs. Baltimore Ravens, man. For those who don't know, I'm a lifelong Baltimore Ravens fan. I'm really I've been a Ravens fan my whole life. Uh, that's what got me into football. Uh, when we won, what really got me when we won, the Ravens won in 2000. With Ray Lewis and Jamal Lewis and Shannon Sharp. That's where I really first discovered Shannon Sharp. I used to play. He was my favorite player. You know, he was my favorite player growing up. Him, because I played Madden, and he was a guy I always used to throw the ball to, because back then uh, the Ravens didn't really have like really great receivers, but like Shannon Sharp was the only, like, because he played tight end. You could say he's a receiver, but he was the only. He was like the best receiver, so to speak. So I always used to throw him the ball. Um, but anyway, yeah. So I'm a Ravens fan, and I just had to give a little, acknowledgement to my team. We've been balling out this year. We 13-3 currently. Play the Steelers this upcoming week. We just been balling, man. We've been balling. We had just blew out the Dolphins 56-19. My Lamar Jackson had 3 for 5 touchdowns. Um, We blew out the 49ers Christmas Day. Uh, Lamar balled out, and then the week previous to that, we threw another show against the Jaguars. Lamar was going crazy, doing his thing. Um, and shout out to Lamar Jackson, man. Um, he's my favorite player. Not just to say, obviously he plays on my team, which is like super great, but he's my favorite player, man. He's exciting. He gives me that excitement. He's giving me that same level of excitement when Cam Newton, prime Cam Newton. For those who remember, prime Cam Newton, 2015. I think that's the year he won the MVP and they went to the Super Bowl. Y'all remember that for my NFL fans out there. Um, prime Cam Newton. Boy, was he a dog. For those who know, I mean, gotta give my guy. I'm a fan of Cam Newton, and he's a guy that. Yeah. So yeah, prime Cam. Uh, that 2015 year was spectacular. You know what I'm saying? Just as a viewer, as a watcher, anybody who remembers that was a spectacular year. Seeing what Cam Newton did, but you know, you know, you had to just give a little acknowledgement and highlight to Cam because that's one of my favorite players all time. But Lamar Jackson gives me that same level of excitement that I had, watching Cam Newton when he was in his prime, balling out, doing his thing. He gives me that same level of excitement seeing him do what he does. And, you know, he's just super dynamic. He's, in my opinion, the best dual threat quarterback of all time. I think, and it hasn't been that long since he's been playing. I think since 2018, but just with the body work he's shown and what the 5-6 years he's been playing, I think it's enough to give him that kudos to say he's the best dual threat guy, passer slash running quarterback of all time, man. On his way to win I believe he should definitely be winning his second MVP this year. Very deserving. I don't know how you could anything else. I mean, the thing is, and even when you look at the 3 games we lost, I think we lost one game by 2, we lost one game by 3, and then the highest point we lost was by 7, and that's it. So you take that in consideration. Then we've beaten every good team, like all the good teams we've beaten, like all the top notch. And then not only we just beat them, we beat them like very convincingly, like blowout. You know what I'm saying? Like this past week with the Dolphins, like we blew them out. You know what I'm saying? We blew the Detroit Lions out. We blew the 49ers out. Like we've been blowing teams out, the good teams. So, you gotta, you know what I'm saying, you gotta give us that, give Lamar that nod. I think, I don't know how you can say Brock Purdy's the MVP and we just blew him out, and he threw 4 interceptions. Like, come on, that can't be. His case is over. And Christian McCaffrey's been playing well, but like I said, we blew them out. So it's like can't even put him in Tyreek Hill. We just blew him out. we just we blew them out. So he can't be in the conversation anymore. Pat Mahomes, we haven't had that good of a season. Been solid, but not really all that good. So it's just Lamar is the only option. So you got to put Lamar as the MVP. Um, my Ravens are about to, you know, I'm just hoping that we can win another championship this year, and we can, you know, keep this level of play that we've been playing these past couple weeks translated in the playoffs. I don't want no drop offs, no, thinking that we're too good and we better than. Nah, we gotta keep the same energy, keep this streak, this blowing teams out. We gotta keep it going uh in the postseason. Keep this same energy, guys. I'm rooting for you. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, y'all keep doing y'all thing, man. So yeah, this concludes the 29th episode. Uh, Always, of course, more content, more to speak about. And yeah, man, see y'all next time.